When I came back to London, armed with that experience, I created a shop that I titled Sex. And at the same time as selling all these, I suppose, more obvious leather and fetish and rubber artifacts, I had to express my own desire and designs and feelings inside this, what I would call sex wear culture. And the best way I thought I could start was to write on the simplest T-shirt 2 lists of people. One list that I thought were dreadful and horrible, and one list that I thought were cool and generated perhaps a new idea. That was my beginning. Young people started to come into the shop, not to necessarily buy the leather gags or the whips, but to buy these bloody T-shirts. Well, sooner or later, I had a vast army of these kids who I discovered were the dispossessed fans of David Bowie, Roxy Music, etc., who were looking for something of their own. Some of those kids came into my store with the notion that they wanted to start a group.
I'd always want to be involved with music to get me out of that depressing kind of environment I was brought up in. That's how I actually first learned how to play. I'd wake up in the morning, take a Black Beauty, and just play it till like my fingers were like bleeding. Oh, like one little bit for like 5 hours. I first saw Johnny Rotten when he came in Malcolm's shop and he sang to the jukebox.
I said, what song do you want to sing, John? I ain't sing. Just mime to a song and get at the end of the shop and use this. It was a shower attachment. I don't know what I was doing with it in the shop, but I had a shower attachment. Pretend this is a microphone. You're on stage. Mime to this song.
All my life I'd been told that I would never amount to very much, I would never achieve anything just because of my social status. And we don't care! When I started, I didn't have much really to use as a source of inspiration. I didn't want to sound like anybody else out there or come up with versions of things that had already been done. So my sources were film, theatre, and Richard III really fitted into that brilliantly.
Is the sword unswayed? Is the king dead? Is the empire uncooked?
Because Olivia's performance was outrageously over the top.
Nothing but sons of death! They're kicked out at the love and get a new weapon!
Anyone can be nice. I loved Steve's guitar playing. Absolutely loved it. Every now and again there'd be a bum note, but he'd be clever enough to make it sound like it should have been there.
You know, that's why we sounded like we did. You know, John couldn't sing and I couldn't play guitar.
This is a jazz club, and I guess it always had a history of, like, being a jazz club. And I just never forget seeing the Pistols, and as opposed to people trying to get close to the stage, people were actually backing off and, like, kind of clinging to the walls and saying, let me out of here. And it kind of, it was great the way the band and Lydon at the time kind of fed off on that.
Susie was just one of the many London punks to start performing herself as the movement grew. John Lydon found himself the spokesman for a generation of bored British teenagers.
You start off in school and they take your soul away. They take your brains away. You're not allowed to have an opinion that differs from theirs.
The Pistols' first single in 1976 marked a cultural year zero for British punk.
Going up to then, really, anarchy was mind games for the middle classes, something university students would dabble with in between lunch breaks. I just chucked it right in now, into the wonderful world of pop.
They're a group called the Sex Pistols, and I'm surrounded now by all of them.
We was rehearsing down in Kilburn. All of a sudden, a couple of blokes come in and said, there's a limo here. You're going to go down and do the Today Show. Is that what it was? And because Queen couldn't do it, they had to cancel.
Are they?
We thought we were going to be talking about the tour and the record, Anarchy.
Well, suppose they turn
He
up
just wanted to, like, you know, make us look silly.
Which one?
Nothing, a rude word. Next question.
No. What was the rude word?
Shit.
Was it really? Good heavens.
So it developed into a huge swearing match. And all the angst and frustration of a group that basically was born out of hating each other was spewed forth towards this paralytic creature who was incredibly horrid and anti this group, beckoning them and goading them on.
Go on, you've got another 5 seconds. Say something outrageous.
You dirty bastard.
Go on, again.
You dirty fucker.
What a clever boy.
What a fucking rotter.
Well, that's it for tonight.
At that point, the show was cut dead.
I'm saying nothing else about it. We'll be back
Police
tomorrow.
were called,
I'll be seeing you
the
soon.
phones were jammed. We were now outside on the street in the same car that came to pick us up from the rehearsal room. And I sat in that car and I said, by God, by accident rather than design, you've just seriously made history, you guys.
So was to begin the media feeding frenzy that accompanied the Pistols for the rest of their careers, as they moved rapidly through record companies and publicity stunts orchestrated by McLaren. Helped by the addition of Sid Vicious on bass, they became fixed in the press's imagination as Public Enemy's #1.
You know, it messed things up as far as destroying the band a lot quicker. And the music went out the window. That wasn't the focus then. It was more like, you know, what we're going to do next. What outrageous thing we're going to do next.
The Queen's Silver Jubilee of 1977 presented the perfect opportunity. The Sex Pistols would make the only high-profile protest against what they saw as self-congratulatory patriotism. Hiring a riverboat on Jubilee night, they played as they cruised down the Thames.
God save the Queen. She ain't no human being. If she made you a moron, a potential H-bomb, there's no future.
It's prophetic. You will have no future if you don't make one for yourself. It's as simple as that. If you accept the forms that be, then you are doomed to your own ultimate blandness.
I, at that point, realized that God Save the Queen was going to be a massive record. Even though it wasn't being played on the radio, even though you couldn't see the group play, enough records were being sold to make it #1. But the #1, for the first time in the history of the record industry, was a black mark because they refused to print the name of the Sex Pistols and the name God Save the Queen.